stack of pancakes might sound like a bit of a guilty treat, but this recipe for lemon blueberry high protein pancakes is actually remarkably healthy. It's also based on oats. It's part of the GCN Oat Cuisine Nutrition Series. It's super easy and super tasty. For this recipe, you will need a frying pan, obviously, to make pancakes, and some kind of blender to blend your pancake mix, because we're making it out of oats, and they need to be blended into essentially oat flour. Ingredients-wise, it could not be simpler. You will need a lemon, some oats, 2 eggs, 300 milliliters of low-fat milk, some salt and some baking powder, and then to top it off, to make it look good and taste even better, you will need some blueberries, some runny honey, and some low-fat or fat-free Greek yogurt. First step is to put a little bit of lemon peel into your recipe. So, take a grater, take your lemon, apply lemon to grater. You don't need very much, depending on how much you like lemon. In the recipe, I've put 1/4 to 1/3 of a lemon zest, but you can vary that depending on how much you like lemon. If you don't know, then I would err on the side of caution, because it is really hard to take the lemon peel out of the mixture after you've made it. So maybe go with just a tiny bit of lemon peel to start with. If you want a bit more, next time, use more. The next ingredient is lemon juice. So you can use half of the lemon you just zested and add roughly 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, which is probably about half a lemon's worth, depending on the size of the lemon. Next up, 150 grams of oats, because this is, after all, oat cuisine. 2 free-range eggs. 300 milliliters of low-fat milk. Half a teaspoon of salt. And if you're on a low-salt diet, you can skip this, obviously. And finally, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Right, for this you want baking powder, not bicarbonate of soda. It's important, the difference. The next step is to blend the pancake mixture until it's smooth. Now, if you don't have a handheld blender or a mixer like this, then you could just use oat flour to start with. Right, here goes. Great. Once your batter is nice and smooth, we are ready to fry. Before you start frying your pancakes, it is a good idea to set up your kitchen so that you are ready to stack the pancakes as they come off the hob. Now, I know not everyone has a beautiful kitchen like this to work in, but make sure you've got space to do your pancake stacking alongside your pancake frying. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big mess. Now, you obviously do not want your pancakes to stick, so you'll need to use some kind of lubricant in the frying pan. I would suggest not bike grease, but instead a 1-calorie cooking spray, because then you know you're not wasting valuable calories on oil. So you want to get your frying pan up to a high temperature, not too high, obviously. Give your pancake batter a stir and pour about 1/8 of it into the pan. If you go a little bit over, it's not the end of the world. Don't expect these pancakes to spread out into thin crepes. These are kind of chunky pancakes because of the baking powder. You want to do the first side for 2 to 3 minutes, depending on your stovetop and your frying pan and all the other factors, until it's sort of beginning to go golden brown and firm enough to turn over. Then when you've turned it over, which is the tricky bit, the first pancake is always a bit of an experiment. This one suffered a slight breakage, but I think it's going to be okay. If we put it on the bottom of the stack, nobody will see. We're going to stack up the pancakes on 2 plates. So while each pancake is cooking, you want to just add a dollop of low-fat Greek yogurt to the previous pancake, spread it around a bit, and sprinkle on a few blueberries. This is why the bottom pancake being a bit broken doesn't matter, because no one's going to see it. Hey, I feel like I'm beginning to get the hang of that stovetop. There we go. Oh, baby. as you get towards the top of the stack, you have to be a little more careful. Now, if you use about 2 tablespoons of pancake batter for every pancake, you should end up with 4 to 5 in each stack. The last few get a little bit precarious, so just be careful when you're stacking them up. But that's part of the fun, right? Then you can use the rest of the yogurt and the rest of the blueberries, both on top and around the side. To top off each pancake stack, I recommend 2 tablespoons of runny honey, which will add a little bit of sweetness, because at the moment, the only sugar in this is the natural sugar in the blueberries. All right, let's give it a try, eh? This is definitely oat cuisine. I'm feeling it's going to be a terrible mess. That's delicious. You can actually vary this recipe in loads of different ways. Like you could use raspberries, instead of blueberries. You could use orange peel instead of lemon. Or any fresh fruit would do, really. Oh, it's really good. Now, if you thought this was tasty, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You might like to check out some of the other nutrition videos in this series of Oat Cuisine. For example, if frying is too much hassle for you, check out this no-cook recipe for banoffee pie overnight oats.